Hey everyone, thanks for joining. We're just going to give a couple minutes for everyone to log on, so we'll probably start at a couple minutes past 2. So hold tight and thanks for your patience. Hey again, for everyone that just joined, we're just going to leave a couple minutes to make sure everyone can log on. So thanks for your patience again. We'll just be a couple more minutes. All right. Hey again, I know a couple more people are still joining, but we're going to get started for those of you who joined right at 2. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today for our second Waze Live. For anyone who was here last time for our Summer Insights, we would have met before. I'm Taylor. This is Rob.
Hey, guys.
We both lead the mid-market team here at Waze. So we work with small and medium-sized businesses to get their locations and their clients' locations on the map and help them be seen and found on Waze. So today we're excited to share with you a number of the insights that we have from Waze, and especially some of the holiday-specific insights that we've pulled. We know there's a lot of planning that's finishing up for the holiday seasons right now, and we want to make sure that you're aware of how people are driving and acting on Waze through the holidays so you can help plan. We're going to talk a little bit about our ad solutions and Waze overall at the end as well.
Yeah, and I'm also really excited to be joining the Waze team. I joined a few months ago. Prior to that, I was working at Google on the AdWords side. So a lot of fun overlaps and crossovers between the two platforms are different. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how they are today.
Yeah, awesome. And just a reminder, obviously this is a live stream, so there is a place on the screen to ask questions. We'll be following along, so please feel free to ask, and we'll try and answer them as much in real time as we can. Any that we don't get to, we'll answer at the end. And of course, Rob and I are always available after the live stream as well. So hopefully you guys get a lot out of today. Please make this interactive as possible. We want to make sure that we're answering everything that you want to learn. Really, the takeaway that we hope you get out of today is, of course, learning about Waze and our platform, but ultimately just learning some interesting insights and data that you can apply for your clients as we get into the holiday season, which is crazy. I can't believe it's already here in September. All right, I'm gonna share our screen now. and dive right into it. Give us 1 minute as this loads up. Awesome. So just as a quick recap, I'll intro you to Waze. Then Rob is really our insights master. He's going to talk about some of the incredible data that we have at Waze, and then the holiday insights, and then I'll dive into our benefits for your agency at the end. Great. So Waze, one of my slides there didn't load, but Waze is the world's largest community-based navigation app. The key thing to note there is that our community is a huge part of who we are as a company. We have a loyal driver base who's really on Waze every single day, contributing to the map, letting us know what's happening around them. And really our community makes Waze what it is. They're very active, they're very engaged, they're constantly talking to us and sharing feedback. And really the goal of Waze is just to help people get where they're going faster and ultimately eliminate traffic. People, our drivers, spend a ton of time using Waze, actually 10 hours every single month. So if you look at the screen here, you can see that all the other social media apps that we hear about a ton, that we use ourselves, Waze is actually right there up it with second most usage next to Facebook. So there's a lot of time spent on app, and we're actually the quickest growing user app here in the US. Awesome. We have 82 million active users globally, and here in the US, there's 24 million of those. Some of our top metros, I don't think this slide's showing up, but are obviously in the busiest cities. Tons of people using the map every single day. Awesome.
Awesome.
Over to Rob.
All right, so it's Rob again. I'm excited to share some of the fun insights. Just looking at a high level, what's going on within this specific industry. We look at like consumers on the road in the United States. Drivers on average spend 25.7 minutes driving to work every day. When you add that up over the course of the year, that's almost an entire work week worth of sitting in the car, frustrated, and that happens to about 86% of people in this country. So there's a massive amount of people that are sitting in their car in traffic, and some of the larger metros with more traffic, people sit up to 80 hours over the course of a year. So there's a lot of time in traffic, but luckily there's Waze. So one of the fun things, I like to do this, I actually just moved here from San Francisco a couple months ago, and I thought we had bad traffic in San Francisco. Anyone from San Francisco probably on this link agrees. However, when I got to New York, I really realized what bad traffic looked like. And so we at Waze actually analyzed this because we have all the data. We looked at some of those metros that were the heaviest in terms of traffic, and San Francisco didn't even make it in terms of the most heavily or the worst traffic in the country, right? So New York is there, and then as you actually get to different cities, there's a lot worse traffic outside of New York. So I was pretty grateful that we're not on the higher end of traffic. Again, this is looking at how long does it take us to drive 1 kilometer in average by city. So people in Manila, if you're tuning in, I'm sorry, and I hope we're coming to you soon. We're coming. Then also what we've done is we've actually taken a look, Chelsea markets where our New York-based office is located. And we said, okay, well, how can we use this data to help us inform our decisions on how we get to work, right? So we have 3 different neighborhoods. We have Newark, we have the Bronx, we have Brooklyn, places where a lot of Googlers come from all over the city. And we analyzed when are the best times and when are the worst times to come into work. So unfortunately for Newark, the worst time is 7 a.m. So if you are trying to get in here for work on time, you're going to be sitting in some traffic. If you want to come a little bit later at 11:30, it's probably the better time to come. So this is just some fun facts we looked at. But how do we use this data, right? So this is a little peek behind the curtain here at Waze. This is a look. All of the green dots, the green places on this map, are actually accidents that have occurred. And the blue dots are Wazers. So the bigger the blue dots, the more Wazers there are in specific locations. And this is how we are. We're consistently receiving data from all our users that are using the app. And this helps paint the picture of what the current traffic is within the city. And this is how we help to avoid a lot of the accidents, a lot of the traffic, and help to reroute and make life easier for our Wazers. What we do with this data, one of the really great things that we do with this data is we actually have what we call connected cities or connected citizens program. And this is really a two-way exchange. We work with municipal partners, so we're thinking cities, hospitals, any sort of emergency services. And what we do is we actually pass them anonymous data, giving them real-time updates on what's going on with traffic, any accidents that happen, any hazards that are found on the road. And in return, they actually provide us with road closures, construction that's going to be happening, and any future events that will likely to cause any delays for our traffic exam. And what this does is it actually creates a symbiotic relationship that helps out both the municipalities as well as Wazers. In fact, one of the things we do is we get 30,000 reports of crashes every day in the United States. So 30,000 reports come in, and of those reports, 70% of those crashes are actually reported before they're called into 911. And so that's fascinating, 70%. And what that allows us to do is we actually pass that on directly to the emergency services. And that's led to a 4-minute reduction in emergency response time. And so literally Waze is helping to save lives. Another really cool thing that we've been able to do through our Connected Citizens program or Connected Cities program is we actually work with municipalities. So this is Rio de Janeiro, the site of the Olympics last year. It has 6.3 million people that live there, and 1 million Olympic visitors that came in over the course of the Olympics. And Brazil, actually, because of this, we expected there to be about a 15% increase in the number of people that came into the city. And so 15% increase in people also equates to a lot of increase in traffic. And so what we did was we actually partnered with the city. And what we did was we used all our data to figure out, okay, what are the most efficient places that we can do? Or what are the most efficient ways that we can help build highways in order to ease that congestion? And so we actually worked with them, provided them data. They were able to build 3 new highways, and that actually led to a 27% decrease in congestion. So moving from San Francisco, where I had an hour-long commute, that would actually cut my commute down to 44 minutes. So it's pretty significant when you think about it over the course of a week, over the course of a year, in terms of the number of traffic that we're cutting down.
Perfect. And yeah, and just a quick note there. Obviously, the goal here is to show you all the amazing stuff that's happening beyond just our app and beyond just our ad solution, which we'll get into later. We have so much awesome data and insights, and we're really trying to use it to work around the world to make some good out of it.
Yeah, and I was just pinged recently that Manila is actually one of our highest penetrated places for Waze users. So Manila, we're there. We know we're working. We do have a couple of questions. What % of all U.S. traffic accidents are related to Waze?
Yeah, we'll look into that as we continue the presentation and come up with an answer. Yes, our ads are all native in app, and we'll walk through how those work and what they look like as we get through the presentation. So Barry, hold tight. We're getting to show you about our ads in a little bit.
All right, now let's go into some of the holiday insights, some of the fun insights that we know. Oh no, hold on. Let's see if we can reload this slide, because this is a really fun slide. All right. In any case, one of the things that we know is that during the holiday season, and we're going to see if we can technically troubleshoot this. Maybe see if we can do. We'll see if we can troubleshoot this. But we know that the holidays are an extremely congested time for people traveling. There's a lot of traffic that comes in through the course of the year. Black Friday, clearly one of the more heavily trafficked terms Christmas as well is one of those places where we see a lot of traffic ramp up. And so not surprisingly, during these times, we actually have a lot more people using the Waze app. And so we get a lot of data. Black Friday alone, we actually get 100% increase in navigations compared to other Fridays during the holiday season. So just a huge bump in holiday traffic. When do we see Wazers going shopping? So as we're sort of loading this in, we actually see a significant increase up through Friday and Saturday, right? So we see a 14% navigation to retail locations during the weekends. And this is looking specifically during the holiday time. And so as you're sort of planning your marketing strategies, when you're looking at AdWords, other across digital platforms, as well as some in-store marketing, you can actually use this data to say, hey, this is actually when we need to heavy up on our ad spend or heavy up on our marketing dollars to make sure that we are reaching people in the time that they're driving to the stores. We ran a Google consumer survey. Let's see if we can get this up. Well, we're gonna try one more time. Okay, so we did. Is that working?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, yeah. So we got the winter is coming, Game of Thrones reference. Anyone who watches out there, hopefully a lot of people. Yeah, when we go shopping, so we kind of talked through this, looked at Friday as sort of the heavier day of traffic. Seeing like a 14% navigation increase on the weekends. And this data is actually really significant. We actually we ran a Google consumer survey. For those who are unfamiliar with the Google consumer survey, it's basically just a large focus group. Google's able to ask, using the largest display network in the world, it's able to poll different people, ask them questions before they see site-specific content. So what we did was we actually screened in people who use Waze. We asked them, are you an active user of Waze? If they said yes, we screened them in. And one of the questions we asked was, what categories are these people going to be shopping for this year? And this is a look at sort of those highest percentage categories across the market: electronics, clothing, apparel, toys, home goods. And we asked over 500 people. So we know that it's statistically significant.
And just as Rob clicks to the next slide, Jason, we appreciate your comment there. I'm glad we got all the slides back up and running.
Awesome. Some other questions we asked, other important stats that we got from the same survey. We asked another question: do you plan to shop online, offline, or both? And 62% of Wazers, people specifically on Waze, plan to shop both online and offline. And so back to being sort of in AdWords for several years before joining here, we talk a lot about people starting the research for the holidays earlier and earlier. And while we know that people are looking at more research points, they're starting earlier, people are still shopping in store, and they're still doing it close to the holiday, right? 34% of Wazers plan to do the bulk of their 2017 shopping in December. Looking at 2016 holiday shopping versus 2015 holiday shopping, we actually saw a 29% increase in Waze navigations to retail locations during the holiday period year over year. And we expect that trend to continue into this year. So now we know when people are shopping, we know what they're shopping for, and we know basically when they're planning to do the majority of their shopping. So one of the things that we like to talk about here at Google and here at Waze is micro moments, the magic of micro moments. So I'm sure everyone remembers the last time that they had a micro moment. For me, it was last night. I had just finished up dinner and I needed to get something sweet. And so I went to the local ice cream shop and I had to buy an ice cream. But for the holidays, we have some different micro moments to talk through, right? So up here we have 3. Forgot something for the holidays, need to get that deal moment, and a time to treat yourself moment, or time to treat myself moment. So the first one, forget something for the holidays moments. So as Wazers are going in, planning these big holiday events, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas lunch or Christmas dinner, as a consumer, we have things on our minds that we need to do, pick up, buy, especially around the holidays. And whether we're planning that trip to the grocery store or whether we forget that last minute thing, that last minute item, it's one of those forget something for the holiday moments. You have to be there for your customers. Looking at the actual insights and the data coming in here, we actually see huge spikes to grocery stores leading up and around the Thanksgiving holiday, that forget something moment. Looking at the data itself, we see the week before Thanksgiving dinner, there's actually a 32% increase in navigations towards grocery stores. And then the day of Thanksgiving, for those people who are a little bit forgetful like myself, there's actually a 63% lift in terms of navigations. Same thing we see with Christmas dinner. Right before there, we see a 61% lift in terms of navigation. And diving down even further, we can look at the day of Thanksgiving. This was one of my favorite facts because there's been so many Thanksgiving dinners that I've had to run out to the grocery store because my mom forgot something. And it's a little bit stressful last minute. But in the morning, we see 49% lift, and around 3 p.m. right before last minute Thanksgiving, probably getting some flowers for the table, who knows, there's an 80% lift in people who are actually spiking and going to navigate to the store. The next moment to talk through is that need to get that deal moment. We all have this. We all have our Christmas list. We all have like things that we want to purchase for other people, whether it's for ourselves, for our family, for our friends. And so thinking through that need to get that deal moment, Waze is a great platform to be able to talk through. Taylor's going to talk through our specific solutions, but we all have these moments during the holidays. When we look at the data, again, drilling in, we see Wazers will storm electronic surge, which is a 208% increase in terms of navigations the day of Black Friday, right? That's the highest peak that we'll see people surging and navigating towards electronic stores. And then again, continuing to see that increase through December, up through the month of December into the holidays, into Christmas, etc. Finally, the time to treat myself moment, right? We all have these cravings. We all want to purchase. For me, it seems to be mostly food-based. For other people, it may be clothing, it may be jewelry. But again, when people are thinking about that time to treat yourself moment, it's a great way to be there, be present. Based on the polls that we asked, the Google Consumer Survey, we asked our Wazers, 84% of US Wazers actually plan to shop for themselves over the holidays. So when you're thinking about those time to treat yourself moments, reaching your consumers in the Waze app platform, it's a great way to do so with a high percentage of people.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. And now we're going to get into a little bit more on how we can take some of those insights and some of those learnings and actually apply them on Waze. Ads on Waze have been around for a while, but recently we've been expanding our Waze Local offering, which is for more regional and local presence brands. So any, whether it's your own brand or your clients who are looking to locally advertise and talk to drivers in a relevant way, especially as they're running promotions around the holidays, this is where we can come in and help out. So as we look at kind of where our drivers on Waze are going, here's a snapshot of some of the verticals that we see them driving to most. This shows you every 5 minutes how many drivers are using Waze to get around in the US to these different categories, which means that every month there's 130 million navigations to the different categories you're seeing on the screen here. This is a huge opportunity for brands and marketers to talk to these drivers and tell them about what's happening in their stores. I know we had a couple questions in the survey before the live stream today about who these drivers actually are and our demographics. So I wanted to give you a snapshot of that now as well. You'll see that it's pretty evenly split between males and females. More Waze drivers than not have children. A lot of times I have people ask me if our driver base is young because Waze is such a new and exciting and innovative app. But if you actually look at where the majority of our drivers are in terms of age, almost half of them are falling between the 35 to 54 age category, and an average household income of over $100,000. And our drivers are super excited for the holidays. In that same Google consumer survey, 3/4 of them in the US said that they're the primary gift shoppers in their household, which means about 18 million drivers on Waze are going to be buying gifts and using Waze to navigate to buy these gifts this holiday season. And 1/3 of them, or 8 million, want to see holiday promotions on Waze. So they're asking to learn more about what's going on. They're asking to see these promotions. And so there's a huge opportunity to share with them. Cool. So kind of taking a step back and a high-level look at what our ads are all about. We talk about Waze ads a lot as billboards with a digital backbone. They're really a digital out-of-home. They look and feel like a billboard, but because they're digital, we can do a lot more with it. And I know someone asked about the difference between a traditional billboard and a Waze billboard in the survey before the live stream as well. Our ads are in-app, in dynamic, and digital. We can be a lot more contextual and relevant in how we show these ads. We know when the driver sees them, where they're going, where they're coming from, the time of day it is, how the weather is outside, if they're on their way to work. And we can show them really meaningful ads in these important moments because we have all this information. So it's a lot more dynamic of a way to show ads than a traditional billboard. And of course, because they're digital, we get a ton of fun insights as well. So how many people are seeing the ad and engaging with it, and also how many people are navigating to the locations upon actually seeing the ad, which is a really powerful metric and unique to Waze. At a high level, Waze is really a branding platform. So a great way at the top of the funnel to build awareness, building awareness of a brand and of course of their locations, especially because we're a GPS and navigation app. And then especially into the holidays, building awareness of different offers or promos that the brand is running. Ultimately, using all that additional awareness to drive foot traffic into store. Cool. And then before I dive into what our ad formats actually are, I just want to take a pause. I know we've had a number of questions come through, so thank you guys for chiming in and asking. I'm going to try and go through a couple of those now to help answer. Barry, we're about to get to yours about how our ads work. I know there was a question about accidents on Waze. If that was missed at the beginning, there are 30,000 accidents reported on Waze every single year. Mark, yes, the deck will be available after the call. Actually, this whole thing will be recorded. So you can go on, and our email addresses will be on the final slide, so you can ping us after and we'll send you the deck as well. Sorry, 30,000 per day is what I meant to say about the accidents. I think that covers everyone's questions.
Yeah, and Christina, just wanted to thank you for being here. I know you guys are going through a lot. I have some cousins down in Houston, so please stay safe, and thank you for using Waze.
Yes, perfect. Perfect. And just one more question as I before I dive back in. I see, Iron, you asked about healthcare. Actually, urgent care centers, health centers is a really growing vertical for us. I think I have an example later on in the deck. If not, I'm more than happy to touch base again afterwards and give you some specific healthcare examples. But it's a great way for urgent care centers to let drivers know where they are so that when they do have that moment of need, they're aware of where to navigate and what's closest to them. So great questions, and we really appreciate you guys asking, so keep them coming. Awesome. So now I'm going to dive into our 3 ad formats. The first is called the branded pin. Branded pin is essentially your brand or your client's brand logo pinned on the map where their location actually exists. So that as a driver is driving along, they can become aware of what's around them and that this location exists around them. So you can think of the pin almost as a store sign. Pins are really the bread and butter of Waze ads. Most of our clients will have them as an always-on play, the same way that they would have their store or their signs always outside their store, making sure that they're seen and found and discoverable by drivers when they're in the area. The second ad format, really the premium ad format, is our zero speed takeover. This goes back to that billboard with the digital backbone that I was talking about earlier. The zero speed takeover will take over the top kind of third of a driver's screen when they come to a complete stop. So if they're in traffic, at a red light, at a stop sign, this will take over their screen and share a brand message, whether it's a generic branding message or if there's a specific offer or promotion that the brand wants to talk about, and a very clear call to action, which is that drive there button that a driver can click on and navigate to the store. All the ads can be clicked through to as well to bring up a location listing with more information like the hours of operation, phone number, everything you need to know about the location that you're driving to. And finally, we have branded search. So on Waze, what branded search means that if anyone is searching for the brand name or the category term, they can be served a branded result. So especially important if you're sort of serving these billboard ads and building this awareness up all week, all month, but the driver maybe when they see the ad isn't able to navigate there in the moment. They're on their way to work. Later that Saturday, they want to pull up the ad and drive to their store to get the deal. Ensuring that we're closing the loop on that full experience and serving them a branded ad so that they can find it again and navigate to store. And our ads really work. Wanted to give a snapshot of a number of the studies that we've done to actually measure how our drivers are responding to the ads and the kind of impact that it's driving and results that it's driving. You can see here that we've run thousands of studies between controlled and uncontrolled groups. So we asked users who have both seen the ads and didn't see the ads on Waze. And what we found was that those who saw certain brand ads actually had a ad recall of 94% and an average navigation lift of 33%. So finally, as we kind of get to the closing, I want to loop back to those moments that Rob spoke about before and how you can actually apply those moments to the ad formats that we just talked about and make them work for your clients on Waze. So for guiding something for the holidays moment, really you want to build that awareness that your locations exist so that they know in that moment of stress or in that panic moment where to go and that you're going to be top of mind for them to navigate to. So when they're tackling Thanksgiving Day shopping, as they're preparing for holiday parties, family gatherings, having the pins easily seen and discoverable so that someone can navigate there as soon as they open their app, and then hitting them with that zero speed takeover as well so that as they're close to store, it's a reminder to pick up the groceries or whatever it is that they forgot, making it easy to find. That need to get that deal moment. Make sure that Wazers are aware of your promotions as they build up and as you're preparing for Black Friday or your last minute holiday deals. We have different call to actions that you can use and kind of playing them out in order of how these promotions are hitting the stores. So throughout October and November, as you prepare for Black Friday and the holidays, using that save for later so that drivers can know that these deals are coming up, become aware, and know that they want to remind themselves. And then when the deals are actually live, using that drive there call to action to actually get them in store when the deal goes live. And finally, the treating yourself moment. It's all about being in the right place at the right time when that moment of hunger or wanting to treat yourself with shopping or whatever it is hits. And really, if you're not being seen during those moments, someone else will be. Someone else will be on the map. So make sure that it's your brand or your client's brand that's there whenever the driver decides to treat themselves and that moment strikes. So again, a couple things, a checklist, a playbook of how to approach the holidays. In October, really it's all about building awareness. Having pins that people are aware that your locations are around as they start to build lists and think about the holiday season, and using that save for later, the zero speed takeover, really triggering the need and getting people in the right mindset. And then finally, as November and December hit, really heavying up. Using those takeover ads to call action, maybe rotating the creative to be relevant and exciting, making sure that you're available on search so that someone does go to shop, you're found, and really heavying up on those key days that we talked about earlier. Want to answer some
Yeah,
couple more questions that came
let's take
through?
some questions. So we had a couple questions pulled up. I think the first question was about pricing, and we're actually going to get to that in a bit. So Social Tech One Consulting, we'll be there in a sec. And then Alyssa, your question, what rate of users completing a route via Drive Now, CTA on zero speed takeovers, and promoted search? So we basically will provide you with the navigations. It's actually an interface, so it shows people that are clicking it, navigating to it, and we do provide some benchmarks as well.
So we can provide those benchmarks, which vary according to vertical. So Alyssa, happy to set up a follow-up call with you to share what those benchmarks might be for the verticals that your clients are in. All agencies get access to a dashboard as well. This dashboard will show you all of your reporting in real time. So the impressions that your ads are getting, the engagements that they're getting, and also those navigations. And you can view all of it by locations and by timing. Most of our targeting, Eric, is around the context of the drive itself. So given that we're a navigation app, our targeting exists around things like geo. Of course, we want to show ads around where the locations are, day part targeting, and then a couple more options for targeting as well in some of our category or some of our solutions like weather, traffic, tourist first visitor, destination, and that sort of thing. So it's really all around the context of the drive. Awesome. And within the Waze local kind of team that Rob and I work on, we have two sort of buckets for solutions, and we have a number of solutions across all of Waze, really to meet the need for your client, whatever it is, no matter how big or small they are, or really what their goal is and what they're looking to do. We can kind of custom a solution for them. The two main ones that we want to talk about today are local and mid-market. Rob and I really lead the mid-market part of the business. So this is regional brands, anywhere from 1 to 50 or more locations who want to be on the map. They can advertise with all the ad formats that we went through today. So our takeover, billboard, promoted search, and branded pin. They're able to geo and day part target. And our team really is here to help out and get their account live and up and running for them. All of our pricing, because I know there was a question on that before, is on a CPM model. You'll see here our different ad formats have different CPMs. And again, happy to go through what those are. Because it's in an impression-based model, the cost will vary per client depending on where their brands are, how many locations they have, and really the type of, or the amount of share of voice or impression share that they want to capture. So we'll always provide customized proposals based on this information for each of your clients as well. You'll see a snapshot here of what some of these minimums look like. Really, Rob and I work with agencies to make sure that their needs are best serviced on Waze and that they can provide the most value to their clients. We allow agencies to view all of their client campaigns from one login. Our team is here to help with complex campaigns, bulk upload, especially for clients with 10, 50, hundreds of locations. And really, we provide value for agencies who have multiple client campaigns running with us as well. So in a typical mid-market solution, the minimum is $3,000 every month, but the more clients are on board, the more that minimum changes, and we're able to help out with that. Perfect. So I know we just have about 5 minutes left. Any other questions that anyone had? We're happy to answer now. If not, again, this link will be still available for you to come back to and view if you want to view any, look at any more of the presentation. We'll be sending out a really, really quick survey afterwards as well. So we would very much appreciate if you guys took a minute or two to answer that survey. I just realized that only my email is here to contact. Rob and I are both contactable at any point. My email should show up on the screen right there. Please feel free to reach out depending on where you're based. Rob and I will be here to set up time to talk with any of you and about your specific client needs. Barry, will this be available on demand? So I'm assuming you're talking about the presentation. Hopefully you will be able to click this link and view it. Since it's a YouTube live stream, you'll be able to watch it like a YouTube video afterwards. And so yes, it will be available on demand. Oh, and Bradley, sorry, I missed your question.
Yeah, and Bradley, thank you. Thank you very much for asking that question. Yeah, the zero speed takeovers, the ads that take over the screen over the map, are only shown when the car is completely stopped for 3 seconds, and it goes away immediately upon starting to drive. So there should never be any sort of distraction from advertising while actually in the act of driving.
Yeah, safety is definitely of utmost importance to our team. Another reason why we charge on an impression basis and not a click basis, to ensure that our drivers are always safe. You'll know, hopefully from using Waze as well, that we don't allow you to interact or change your search or anything in the screen while you're driving. We want the passengers to help out with this. So it's all about the impressions.
Great.
Thank you guys for being so interactive,
so
asking so many questions. This was really great. As we mentioned, please reach out with any other questions that come up. Happy to set up time to talk with all of you.
Yeah.
Please take the survey. And we'll be continuing to do more of these as more insights come through for the different seasons. So we'd love if you guys tune in again. Thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, and have a happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yes, as they're coming very, very quickly. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Thanks again.